Can Bruna Brasil's cleaner striking and grappling transitions outscore Ketlen Souza's pressure and submission danger, or does Souza's volume and chaos flip this fight late? Welcome back to the Prestige. We're going to break down this high volatility women's strawweight matchup built on exposing threats. Brazil wants space, accuracy, and controlled grappling, and Souza wants pressure, volume, and scrambles that turn into submission opportunities. This fight hinges on whether the clean work beats constant work, or whether pressure forces mistakes. First comes the fight style interaction map, how these two styles actually play up against each other. For Bruna Brasil, her primary style is a low volume accurate striker, and her secondary is a control based grinder. She likes distance striking and controlled grappling entries. What she doesn't like is extended ground sequences where submission threats stack up. For Ketlen Souza, her primary style is a volume striker, and her secondary is a submission specialist. Preferred phases, she likes pressure striking into scrambles and submission setups. What she doesn't like is eating clean power shots at range. These styles collide in a striking range, where Brazil looks to land clean and dictate tempo, while Souza pressures forward to force exchanges that can transition into ground scrambles. Now on to the win funnel system, the clear path each fighter needs to take to win the fight. For Bruna Brasil, hers is distance striking to land clean damage, changes into grappling and selective submissions, and then get a knockout or a submission. For Souza, use pressure striking to force reactions, transition pressure into submission attempts, and then use that to get a submission or grind out a decision. Now onto the matchup-specific strengths that each fighter brings just to this one. For Bruna Brasil, striking accuracy that exploits Souza's defensive gaps. She brings grappling threat that adds a second layer against the volume striker. And then camp emphasis is on chaining striking into grappling. And for Ketlen Souza, her sustained volume pace wears down lower output opponents, her strong submission rate in chaotic scrambles, and her Team Felipe Rigo camp emphasizes finishes and pressure. On the flip side, here are the weaknesses that each fighter brings. For Bruna Brasil, she has a high absorption risk against high volume pressure fighters. She has recent losses that do highlight defensive lapses, and then her takedown defense can be stressed in extended exchanges. And for Ketlen Souza, her limited power against accurate strikers. She does have losses against fighters that manage range very well, and her pace and confidence can crack once she gets a little bit of damage. In the hidden detail that the stats revealed is that Ketlen Souza's scramble-based submission efficiency against strikers spikes 25%, allowing her to turn Brazil's forward pressure into sudden submission opportunities. Why it's missed is most analysis focuses on striking volume rather than scramble outcomes, and it appears in ground transitions and broken exchanges, and it benefits Ketlen Souza, creating some real upset potential. I ran 100,000 simulations using real in-depth stats with fight-based modifiers, and here's what it came out. Bruna Brasil comes in with a 52% chance to win, with 15% by knockout, 4% by submission, and 33% by decision. And Ketlen Souza comes in with a 48% chance to win, with 13% by knockout, 27% by submission, and 8% by decision. The most common finish window is round 2, and the outcome volatility is chaotic. In the end, Bruna Brasil's cleaner striking and ability to transition into controlled grappling, refined at fight camp, give her a slight edge over Ketlen Souza if she manages distance and avoids prolonged scrambles. Souza's pressure and submission threat keep this volatile, especially if exchanges break into chaos. If this fight flips, it's because Souza's driven volume forces scrambles and turns one transition into a submission chain. What do you think? Brasil by decision or late finish, or Souza by submission upset? Drop your prediction in the comments. I read every one of them. If this breakdown helps, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss the rest of the card breakdowns. Thank you for watching. Let's see who controls this chaos.